There's the cauldron beneath the moon.
And welcome back to another episode of The Witch and the Wise Man. This is your host, D.E. Riley, and this pretty lady sitting next to me is my favorite, and your favorite witch too, I'm sure, Miss Tanya Steinborn. Tanya, how are you?
Oh, you know.
I know. You've been through, guys, if you don't know, Tanya lives in Canada. So you can imagine what it's been like around her place over the course of the past week or so. It's really gotten insane up there. It was insane here in Northeast Ohio. It was like the worst smoke I've seen in, I can't remember how, 50 years maybe, when I was living in Southern California. And they had wildfires one year down there, and it was just like that. I mean, it was just the moon is red at night. The sun is not existent during the day. It was just terrible. And then you went through even worse because you were on the brink of being evacuated there a time or two, weren't you?
Yeah. Last week it was pretty touch and go. The emergency alerts that they give you on your phone.
Right.
It was, pack some stuff just in case. And then you're like sitting there going like, what the hell do I pack? Besides my pets and my kid that's home visiting, like where do you even begin?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You want to grab everything. I mean, it's your stuff, you want to take it all, but it's like
stuff. So anyway, but then it's been raining the last 3 days. So this is good. So I'm not complaining.
We've had tornadoes and storms and all kinds of fun stuff during the last week. So
joy.
Crazy out there. Okay, tonight we are going to discuss manifestation. What exactly is manifestation? And let's look at it from one or two different angles.
Right.
Because I think you're going to be surprised with some facts that I found out, which I was really surprised about, and I just caught it just by accident. But we'll talk those up a little bit later. Tanya, can you give an explanation to everybody in a spiritual sense what manifestation is and how you go about manifesting things in your life?
Well, I think manifestation kind of could be summed up kind of as like focused energy and really focusing on outcome and not just letting things be how they are without like any focused attention to it, right? Mm-hmm. Like being unconscious, I guess, just living your life unconsciously, not focusing your energy in any particular direction. Manifestation is such a buzzword, especially in the spiritual community. Like, you have books like The Secret, and you have a bazillion different types of books on this particular topic.
Right.
But everything from very scientific viewpoints, things like Dr. Joe Dispenza talking about manifesting and focused energy, and to all the masters and the ancients talking about manifestation. So I think really on a basis, that's super basic. I would say it's like focused energy for a particular outcome.
Right.
And that's a very mental way of looking at it as far as like mental energy. But I personally feel that the feeling is so important. Like the feeling of what let's just say you're trying to manifest a new job. People really can get stuck in this idea of like vision boards and, I'm thinking about it all the time and this is what I really want. But they miss sometimes the aspect of the emotion and the feeling that goes along with it, which brings you right into the moment, into the now, which is exactly where you have to manifest from. You cannot manifest from backwards or forwards. You have to manifest from the now, from the moment. Right. And so having that feeling of what you're desiring, what you're trying to manifest. So feeling what that new job is going to feel like in your body. To me, that's a huge piece of that puzzle of manifestation that I think sometimes might get lost in translation,
And yeah, and
because
it's funny because I just did a recording, and it's out on our YouTube channel last week about living and time. And it was funny that you came across everything's done in the here and now, because that was one of the big things, is that the past is gone. You will never get that back. You will never visit that again. The future is just imaginary. You don't know what the future is going to hold. Everything that happens in your life, every change that you can make, has to happen now.
Yeah.
In this moment, because this is the only time you're going to have this moment. And it's the only place change can happen is in this moment.
Exactly.
So, manifestation absolutely goes hand in hand with what I talked about. Now, the thing about manifestation is that now, I don't get me wrong, folks. I definitely believe in being able to manifest things in your life. You, like you said, direct all your energy, pinpoint all your energy on that. You start living like that has already happened. You start caring about your life like that change has already been there and already done. And all of a sudden, things will start rolling in that direction. Now, what's the difference between that and your mom telling you when you're a kid, you can do whatever you want to do in your life? You just have to work towards it. You have to stick to your guns. You have to stay focused and work towards it, and you'll get that. Where's the difference? Where's the line in that? Or is that just two different ways of looking at the same thing?
Well, I think that's pertinent, because you can manifest all you want, but if you're not putting any kind of action towards it, then what's the difference between manifesting then and fantasy? Like, if you're not going to put action behind that, like going back to the, I want this dream job. Well, if you're not going to put action between of like, I need to learn these certain skill sets to get that dream job, then you're manifesting. You can meditate, and you can manifest and do your vision boards and all this, but if you're not putting action behind it, then at what point is your manifesting becoming just fantasy?
Yeah. And at the point where you may want this particular thing, but like you said, if you're not putting forth the energy, the focus, in the direction, finding the path you need to take, it's not easy to do. It's work. You have to find that path that you're willing to take to get to where you want, to get to what you want. I think manifestation is a great way of saying hyper-focused on something to the point where you make it happen. That's the I think the simplest definition that you can throw out there. Now, the other question, the other side of that coin, is if you're looking at this in a metaphysical sense and you're able to actually manifest something like I have, like I'm sure you have, where we focused all our energy towards this one thing and bam, it happened, did we just alter reality, or did we just alter our reality, our consciousness? What changed? Because if you change something through the power of your mind, through the power of your focus, then doesn't that have a butterfly effect through everything else? And then you just totally changed the reality of you and everyone else. Because now everyone else in your consciousness, in your reality, is now seeing that you were able to manifest this. So their lives have changed also. So is that what happened? You just willingly were able to change the universe through the thought process.
I'm not too
Yeah.
sure what you mean exactly. Like, I think that you can manifest things that, like, people directly in your life have no influence over.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So they
But
haven't changed, but you've
won't
changed. Like, you
your
put it in the quantum field, right?
right.
Of possibility. So
But your outcome is going to affect them. Okay. If you manifest and you I'm gonna quit using that word because we're gonna use it so much, people are gonna get tired of hearing it. But if you hyper focus on your goal to make things happen in your life, what you want, what you need, how to go about getting it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it is going to affect everyone else. Maybe not directly. Maybe they're not the ones that got that job, but it's going to affect them, even in the slightest way, that you did get that job. You know, if your
yeah, but
family,
like
they're going to worry less about you.
but I look at manifestations as it could be something simply as you. I say it all the time. I'm going to manifest this, and it's something that I put into the ethers, and then it comes to me in sometimes the most craziest ways. It's like, whoa, I manifested this.
Right.
Like, and I all I did was speak it into existence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I know other people that can call that, or would call that, prayer.
Possibly. I mean, you could speak to my roommate Penny, and she'd tell you that I manifest shit all the time.
But isn't that what it is? You know, you've got a problem, or you've got troubles, or you got worries, or you've got a situation you need to get out of. You pray about it, and then the powers of whoever you're praying to then takes over at that point and guides you. Is that really what's happening, or is it up in here that's
Is it
happening?
a thought form, you mean? Is it actually like a thought form?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Is that when you
Yes.
speak it into reality, is you speaking it into reality an actual thought form that's been created? Or do you mean like, I'm not too sure what you mean.
Okay. Thoughts, prayers, intentions, spells, rituals, all of
Yeah.
that can be clumped into that manifestation
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
ball,
I could
right?
see that.
It's all
Yeah.
it's all I guess you could say it was all the same thing. Um it's like we said, it's focusing your mind to make that magic happen.
Right.
Um And in my case, that's exactly what I did. You know, I was trying to get something taken care of. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I'm going through. I'm focusing. I'm going. Okay, this is how it's going to happen. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that, and that, and that should get me from point A to point B. And starting right now, point B is how I'm going to live. I'm going to live like that's happened. I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to make this magic part of my life, and I'm putting all my energy towards that point B, and it happened. You know, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it actually, happened the first time I did it, but it does happen. And personally, I don't think there's anything so mystical and magical about going for a goal. Everybody's going for goals. Everybody's trying to change their lives. So is that's what's the kind of the fabric of reality is everybody's going this goal. Well, I say everybody, most people are going to this goal, or this goal. And all of a sudden reality is changing in a gazillion different directions, it's
Well, no, and I wonder too, like if you're talking like, we talked a bit about this in the last like our last podcast on CERN and timelines and whatnot,
mm-hmm.
is could the thought of whatever that is that you're trying to manifest, could that actually be almost like a memory or an overlap of you having that in a different timeline? And so you know it's possible, so you try to manifest it? Or you know what I mean? Like
That's
that's kind
cool.
of like a curious thing to think about. Like maybe, when what we're trying to manifest is just things where we actually know or remember from different timelines.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, like I'm trying to manifest $1 million because in several other timelines that are running right now, I am a millionaire and it feels great. So
Yeah, I like
like,
that.
I don't
I'm
know,
gonna get
maybe.
on that bandwagon right after we're done here.
Right? Sorry, the dog's barking. I've got my daughter here and her dog, and so things are a little
That's
chaotic at the
no
moment.
worries.
You remember Louie, your best buddy?
Oh yeah, yeah. But if you look at it from a psychological standpoint, the thing is, people that become hyper focused or focused on a goal, an intention, what they intend to do, what they want to make their
Habit.
future out to be.
Right.
These people have a tendency of like, they get more confident in what they do and what they're doing. It's a great confidence builder by all means, because now you've got that goal. They take actions to get them there. They start
Yeah.
working harder. They start looking for different avenues. Their behavior changes. Now they become motivated and driven, and they're pushing themselves towards something. It can change their whole persona.
Yeah.
And on top of that, another thing to think about is the mind has a weird filtering system that kicks in a lot in this. And it's like, maybe those opportunities have always been there. They just ignored them before because it wasn't part of their plan at that time. Although they've always been there. They're passing up opportunities until they finally get focused on what they want. But the filtering system in the brain is weird, and there's a clinical term for it. I don't know what it is. I can't remember now. I read it a few days ago. But it's like when you buy a red truck, you suddenly start seeing red trucks everywhere that you hadn't noticed before. Okay, there's your opportunities opening up that you hadn't noticed before just by opening up that door. Your awareness of things change. So it basically, to me, comes down to manifestation is just focused attention. That's all it is. You like I said, you become hyper focused, and all of that. Is it now the question I asked earlier, just throwing it out there, see if I could trip you up and get that look on your face like, the fuck's he talking about, is how it changes. Is it your reality that changes, or the universe that changes? All realities change because of your manifestation, your hyper focus on something, or reality is not bending at all. You're the only thing changing, and that changes the course of your reality. You bend yourself to fit that reality.
Sorry. Chaos
Hello.
in my house. I'm back.
That's all right.
Boy.
Like I said, it's not till you start recording that people start.
Yeah, calling and chaos pursues.
Yeah.
I did
Always.
not manifest this.
Maybe that's something we need to think about.
Yeah, maybe. Oh.
But, anyway, are you changing reality, or are you bending yourself to fit the reality that you want to live?
Well, I think that there's infinite possibilities for everything. And so in my mind, how I look manifestation or hyper focusing on a specific goal is that you it's like the radio station. But you're like fine tuning into that one station so that your energy, it's that where attention goes, energy flows. So for me, it's when your attention, it's, the double slit experiment. As soon as you observe something, you've changed the outcome. Like things change just by observation. Things change just by focus.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do believe you are personally affecting the field, the quantum field. I do believe that because your energy is focused. It's not scattered. It's more focused and not so diluted, right? So, and of course that is used to manifest your goals, your outcomes that you wish to happen, or your, ideas. Sometimes here's the thing, like when people worry about stuff, how people will like, oh my God, why do so many bad things always happen to me? Or like, oh, I'm so worried about this thing happening. And then that thing happens. Well, guess what? You've put your energy doesn't care if it's positive or negative. It's energy. So you're worrying about something. You've just manifested that. You just manifested that outcome because you put so much energy into worrying about it. It's manifestation for a negative outcome, really, is what worry is.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. Yeah, I do believe that we affect the field.
Yeah. How could you not, I mean, really. And I know I'm playing both sides of the coin here, but it's what I do. I mean, when you think about this stuff and you start looking at it from different angles,
of course,
coming up with all kinds of things. But it was funny the other day. I had on a TV show and it was just playing. It was one of those things. It's just on TV and it's noise in the background.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I don't know what I was doing, but I was busy doing something else. I was just listening to it. And they started talking about, or the show did a small blurb on the human mind manifestation, but not in a direct sense. They were talking about some of the greatest minds in the world: Albert Einstein, Alexander Graham Bell, Nikolai Tesla. All of these people did just this. They would get an idea for an invention. They would literally build the invention in their head and hyper focus on how they had to do it, what steps they had to go through to get to the end result, and then start living like it was finished. It was already done. All of them did this. Every single one of them would manifest what they were about to do, and then they would do it. And there was no plans, nothing written down until after it was done. They just made the shit up and decided, okay, this is going to work, and this is how I'm going to make it work. But I was real surprised to hear that the greatest minds, that ever walked the earth, all did this, all did the same thing. So they are hyper-focused on what they want, and people listening out there can do the same thing. I'm convinced anybody can do this. Hell, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Here I am, 70-year-old half-drunk hippie that, scoots through life now, retired, so I got a podcasting, But I firmly believe that if you want as my mom said, you want something bad enough, you'll figure out how to get it. And that's what we're doing here. We're figuring out how to get it. Now, can this be a dangerous thing is the next question. Can this be something that I think you touched on this already, can manifest negativity, can cause bad things to happen to you and other people if you're not looking at it and using it correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, sometimes people are told you're attracted to illness. If you hear you're sick, you're going to be sick, If you hear about this illness, you're going to have that. They're manifesting that illness in themselves. I've seen this happen from people that I've known that they
Oh, yeah.
come within a video's width of an illness. 2 days later, they're coming down with it. I mean,
Yeah.
and it happens all the time, and especially now on apps like TikTok, one of our favorites. They get out there and say, okay, you're going to have the explosive diarrhea shits if you eat lettuce and you can't get rid of it. Or if you get bit by a tick, you're never going to be able to eat red meat again. And on
Yeah.
and on and on. And it becomes a fad on social media. And now you have a collective conscious all pushing in the same direction for this illness. And it's true. It will work. People are getting sick. They're not sick. They just have made up
Power of the mind, right? It's the
sickness.
power of the mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have manifested that trauma. You know, whether it be because they need attention, you know, they need that attention towards them, or if it's just something in the subconscious that says, you know, follow the leader. Here it is. Here's all the symptoms to tell your doctor. Go in and, you know, so it doesn't matter that you ate Taco Bell for 3 days straight. You know, you've been eating greasy tacos and you know, all this bad
Yeah,
crap,
exactly.
fat garbage. And, you know, now all of a sudden you've got diarrhea. So now you've got explosive diarrhea brought on by this mystery. I don't know anybody that's got that. I don't know a single person, you know, either one of those diseases I named. I don't know anybody. Yet I'm supposed to be in the hotbed for this shit. So, you know, I don't get it. But, you know, then other avenues people go down is like, well, poverty exists because you're of the wrong mindset. Now you're shaming people because of manifestation. You're manifesting poverty. Quit doing that. It's a whole guilt trip that you lay on people at that point. You know, and so it can be used in a bad way too. I feel that people get misdirected, and there's a lot of people out there that don't have a very strong constitution, that are very susceptible to suggestion. You know, hypnotists make a living off of this shit, you know. But I think that not only can it be a good thing personally, but it can be a bad thing if you do it and then somebody tries to do something and gets misled or turned in the wrong direction. They fail right off the bat. Well, now, yeah, well, you didn't do that right. You know, you got to do this. You got to light that candle while you're doing this, and then you got to, you know, do whatever. But me personally, if somebody came up and told me shit like that, I'd have gone, fuck it then. You know, I'm done. Not going to play. You know, it's just too much. So, yeah, you know, I feel that, yes, it can be used for good, but you can also use it as a tool for bullying people also, you know. If
Manifestation in general, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's energy, and energy is neither good nor bad. It's energy.
Yeah, but it's the way that you use that energy to make people feel if they're trying to manifest something and they're unable to do it in the first shot or two.
You mean like shaming people because they can't manifest something?
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't be shaming people, really.
Oh,
like,
no, I agree.
You're coming from a place like that, but that's that new age bullshit. You know, that's that new age, the false white lighters and it's all that shit. It's not. It's you know, that's why I don't identify with the new age movement, because I believe it's been corrupt. I believe it's been infiltrated. I don't, you know, this shit saying stuff about like, oh, there's no such thing as duality. Well, this entire fucking planet's based on that. That's why we came here. Like, you're to experience duality. So now you're denying this plane of existence. Like, I don't know. I don't identify with new age at all. So, but that's that thing, like, oh, like your soul is wanting this experience. Oh, your soul is wanting the experience of being molested at 3 years old? Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that crap. And that's that same kind of shaming about manifesting that they do to people. Like, oh, why can't you manifest? Oh, you manifested this into your life. No, it's a lot more complicated than that. A lot.
Right. Right. And it's you all right?
Sorry. Yeah, my lungs have been screwed since the fires.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can
Oh, that's
understand.
okay.
I can understand. Um,
No, I
you
didn't
know, there's
manifest the fires.
yeah, whoever did that, I want their address. Um, you know, there's an experience, and we can pass that along to the experiment. We can pass that along to our listeners if they want to try it. Um, you guys out there, give this a try. Think about a time when you became obsessed with a goal. You just had to have something, okay? Or you had to, whatever, career, job, whatever it is, you had to have that. Finding love, starting a business, learning a skill, whatever you want to do. Look at it like this. Now, if you start the manifestation process in your life, did the universe open those doors, or did you finally begin walking through the doors that were already there? They're already there for you. You just learned how to focus and go through them. Or did you make that up? What side
Well,
of
and
that?
that's what I mean about if every moment in time has infinite outcomes, infinite possibilities. That's why, like, for me, that's why I don't do like psychic readings, and I don't do that really anymore, because at the end of the day, I'm only tapping into one possibility. If I'm giving you a reading, that's only one possibility.
Right.
There's infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's all these possibilities, all these doors that are potential. All of them. They're all there. It's just a matter of choice. And this is part of manifesting too, is like people, you got to get clear. It's like, well, I want this to happen. I want, a new house, but I don't know. Or do I want a new house? Oh yeah, I do. Like, you're back and forth. And the universe is like, what the hell you want? Make a decision. Like, and that's why with manifestation, you've got to get very clear and really clear,
Right.
not necessarily on, well, some people, some people do say you need to, get as crystal clear about every single detail. And for me, it's like, yes, every single detail, but the biggest detail is how you feel. And connect with that feeling of already having that thing or that experience.
Right.
And live in that feeling, experience that through that. And yes, like, get clear about the details, exactly what paint is on the wall and what pictures are hanging and what you're wearing and what your hair looks like and what shoes, like, the more crystal clear about that picture, it's like they say the better the outcome or the manifestation is, that could actually be a possibility. So yeah, there's lots of different ways to manifest, and lots of different really, you got to find the one that feels right. For me, it's like, I personally believe the feeling is the key to making that manifestation reality. Because if you can't connect with that feeling, then it's all just mental energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the one of the keys that I threw out there, whether it be with these, famous minds or anybody else. You have to live like that outcome has happened. You have to get it in your mind and not just pretend, but make it a part of your reality, that outcome has happened, and this is how I'm going to handle everything. And when I did that, a friend of mine's like, man, aren't you worried about this? I'm like, no, why would I be worried about anything? It doesn't make any sense. This has happened. It's done. In my world, this is done. It's already happened. So what have I got to worry about? I don't worry anyway. I refuse to do that. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
but
Manifestation in the wrong direction.
yeah, exactly.
Or it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's that feeling. It's living like it's happened. It's living like
Yeah.
it's living like the goal is already behind you, and now you're moving forward with your life because it's happened.
Yeah.
And I planned every day to that outcome. Every day I would get up in the morning and I would tell myself, okay, I've got to do this, 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 and this because that's happened. And this now is how I've got to take care of things. And the thing is, it hadn't happened. But that's the way I was living my life. And I lived like
Right.
that for a month and a half. And,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just that one friend, it was several of them going, dude, if I were you, I would be like losing my mind trying to figure out, no, it's done. It's figured out. It's all over. I'm
Yeah.
not losing any sleep over anything. I was in a great mood, went around my business. I felt great. I wasn't drunk down, wasn't depressed, wasn't worried about anything. I just went about my day like everything was normal and it already happened. And sure enough, it happened.
Yeah.
So there is something to that. I think there's a universal vibration that picks that up in us. And that's when those doors start swinging open, when you
Yeah.
tap into that frequency.
That possibility. Like,
Right.
how can anything happen in your life if you're not open to the possibility of it becoming your
Mhm.
reality?
Right, right. But it's also not only just the idea that the possibility of this happening is true, it's already happened. That possibility is a thing of the past, So
Yeah.
you're literally at that time straddling, I believe,
You're living in
timelines,
you're
universes,
Delulu.
realities.
Yeah.
So you're straddling that because you're in this one reality that says it's already happened, and then this other reality over here says, no, that ain't happened yet. You're still waiting for it. But you're walking that fine line between those two. No, hadn't happened. Is it going to? Absolutely, it already has. Doesn't make sense, but it does make sense if you really think about it. It's
Yeah.
hyper focusing on that goal to the point where you're living like it's happened.
Yeah, and that's what you hear that saying all the time on like TikTok and stuff from different creators talking about like when they're talking about manifestation or creating and stuff, they're like, you got to be Delulu. The more Delulu or delusional you are, that you're living in that reality, then that's how shit comes to you that goes back to that feeling. That feeling of what that's going to feel like when you have $1 million. How does that feel in your body? Does that makes you feel? For me, financial, like for me, winning or building a business that would make me a multi-millionaire feels like freedom, feels like comfort, feels like ease. And I feel that in my body. That feels like a looser shoulders. That feels like really good, nutritious, high quality food in my stomach, and I'm eating it, and the grapes are so juicy, and like literally, that's what I'm talking about. That feeling and connecting to that feeling. And
Yeah,
so that's to me, that's the power you need, that delusion of being in that moment of that feeling, like you're saying, you're living as if it's already happened.
right.
And you're living really through your mind and through your body by experiencing that and bringing that focus back into that moment.
And the one thing that I noticed about how I felt when I started doing that was when I hit that point in my mindset that this is a goal and it's already happened, and I believed in my heart that it had already happened, it was like somebody had lifted this huge weight off of me all of a sudden. It was like, and my body felt lighter, and I felt happier, and I stood taller, and I walked straight. gaining self-confidence. Yeah, what I mentioned a while ago, when you start chasing these goals, you gain that self-confidence and it projects to other people. They notice it right away. And that's where the questions start coming in. How come you're not worried? Why aren't you upset? You know, what good is all of that crap going to do? That negativity has no place in what I'm doing. None.
Right.
So you
Right.
really, it's a great exercise for your mind. It
Yeah.
really is, because it teaches you how to be focused. Um, and it's, I don't know. I guess it could almost be looked at as like some kind of superpower. I personally don't see a spiritual connection here.
And
I
manifesting?
do see a universal connection in the vibrations of the universe, but I mean spiritually, as far as a god or anything like that bleeding into this, I don't see that. If that were the case, it would never happen to me. You know, if I left it to a higher power, it would never happen. It's the universe as a whole, I think, has that vibration, and you need to tune into it. You pick it up.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
match the frequency of what that outcome is.
Right, right,
You
right.
have to get into alignment.
And
Yeah.
it's, you know, can everybody do it? Everybody should be able to do it. You know, I don't care if you're rich or poor or blue in the face. If you want something, if you have a goal, you'll figure out a way to get it. It may not always be the right way to go about it, you know, but you'll figure out a way to get it. That's what people do. I think everybody has the ability to tap into the energies of the universe and use it in their favor in this way.
But I think, but to be fair, of course we have the ability to that. But in reality, how many of us are that fine-tuned and that spiritually connected and that energetically connected to literally have whatever we want? Like, let's be honest. How
No.
many of, and I hear that shit all the time. Like, people like, well, just manifest it. Just manifest it. Just manifest that your spine is fine. Just manifest that this and that. And it's like, kind of, okay, we're here, we have a physical body. We have a physical vessel. There are certain limitations that we have. Let's stop, excusing the fact that we have a flesh puppet and we have
Right.
certain limitations, right? So, of course it's possible. Of course it's possible. But are you that spiritually, energetically connected? Have you done the work to be that spiritually, energetically connected to manifest your spine with no spinal disease? Like, are you? Yes, it's possible. But are you really that connected? Are you really that fine-tuned? And the reality is most of us are not.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
we're busy grinding away at our 9 to 5s and we're distracted by fucking doom scrolling, and we have families and partners that pull our attention. So unless we want to go live on a mountain and meditate 17
Yeah.
hours a day.
Yeah, it's you get wrapped up in that career, you get wrapped up in that work. Yes, it's very, very easy to start losing focus of what you're doing. And once you lose that focus, once you lose that connection with your self and the universe, then I think that whole cycle is interrupted. I'm not saying it's broken. I'm saying at that point it's interrupted, and it's up to you to decide: am I going to carry this through? Or are we just going to drop it? I'm good where I'm at,
Yeah.
But I've gotten the same reaction from people. Why don't you just manifest this if you can do that, or manifest that? And I'm like, there's some of that shit I don't even want. Why would I do that? Why would I go after a goal that it's stupid?
Doesn't make sense to you. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care about all that crap. I'm a pretty simple guy. At my days of becoming a career oriented nut, and hopefully one day becoming a millionaire and all that are way behind me. They're back here. I'm comfortable. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. I'm healthier than I've been in the past 50 years right now. And it's all mindset. I can't tell you how many times during the course of the week somebody, you don't look or act like you're 70 years old. I'm not. In my
No,
mind,
because we're
I'm
going by
40.
the Egyptian calendar. Yeah, we're going by the 13 moon calendar.
Right.
So,
And that's my mindset is I'm not going to grow old, and I'm not going to grow. I refuse. That's my goal. I don't have to. You can't tell me I do. Not happening. I don't go to
yeah,
certain places because
na
old
na
people
na
are
boo
there.
boo.
I don't like old people behind the wheel of cars. I don't like
Yeah,
going to grocery stores full of old people. It bothers me because it's upsetting my balance and my psyche. I have a goal to stay young for as long as I possibly can, and I tend to keep that. And that's where my focus goes: staying healthy, staying active, staying in control of my faculties, um, staying educated. I read and do study and watch educational programming constantly. I love that stuff. I can't get enough knowledge. So that's kind of like my addiction. I want to know more when I get on a subject, always. And then I push towards that direction. But that's my long-term goal. I don't want money. I don't want to be rich. I got enough. I'm cool. I'm happy in life, and very few people can just stand up and say, "Hey,
exactly. But
I'm
isn't
living
that
it, man.
isn't
I'm
that
awesome."
that's a but that's abundance and that's wealth is
That's,
happiness.
that's true, and that's something that money cannot buy. And you've heard that saying 1,000 times. Money can't buy happiness. And you're right, it can't. But guess what? I can.
I just think like if I'm happy now, I'll be so happy with millions in my bank account. I'll be ecstatic.
Yeah, I would. I would dare
Come on,
say I give it a
let's be
shot.
honest.
I'd give it a shot.
All
Why not?
all money is, all currency is, it's currency. It ebbs and flows,
Yeah.
and I just want it to flow into my bank account so that I can be. I
There are
am
there are
free. I'm free. I'm free from working jobs that are hard on my body. I'm
right.
free to travel. I'm free to give my children what they deserve. I'm free to give myself what I deserve. I'm free of worry. Like, come on. That's where I'm going to put my energy.
Good. I hope it happens. I will also meditate and put energy towards that for you, because I would love to see that happen to you. It wouldn't happen to a better person. I mean, I think the moon. I think, yeah, the
Okay, I
moon.
like the moon. The
Yeah,
moon's
the
good.
moon will do. I think the moon
It'll
will do.
It'll do.
But yeah, it's the whole, and I'm with you. The whole new age manifestation thing is almost too much to swallow sometimes, because people get so ignorant with it. I mean, they
Yeah,
really
that's
do.
the false white lighters.
And
That's what I call them.
yeah, and that comes down to witchcraft also. I hate seeing shit become fashion, because once it becomes fashionable, then you got people in there trying to fuck everything up. They do their
Yeah,
best to screw
it's
things up.
infiltrated. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tainted. Yeah, it's tainted.
Yeah, and
It's infiltrated by negative forces trying to dilute it and trying to corrupt it, and that's all been corrupted, right? So that's why I don't identify with that. And even being a witch, because it's become so fashionable, it's become so corrupted to a certain degree too. Like, sometimes I don't know if I want to identify with that title anymore. It's like, I don't know. It's not a costume, and people seem to think that it is. It's all, oh, witch talk this, and this witch now become a Christian, and I don't know. It's a lot. So
Yeah.
I focus on my day and who I am, and I'm not gonna get involved in all that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. You got to get it out of that. If you want to practice doing this and you want to try to do this, you've got to get it out of that fashion thing. Quit listening to TikTok. Number one. Okay.
Numero uno.
No. Quit watching TikTok because,
Except for Watch the Witch and the Wise Man.
yeah,
And,
except for that one. Because,
like our personal channels, like watch that. Watch
yeah,
that,
watch the good
though.
stuff. Watch the good
There's
stuff.
lots of good stuff out there. 100%.
There is.
You just have to have discernment to realize what's bullshit.
Yeah.
I was born with a pretty good bullshit reader, so.
Yeah. If it
Except for
smells
when
like
it comes
bullshit.
to men. Apparently, men, I don't have a very good bullshit.
You and I sail that same course. You ain't alone, darling.
Suddenly, my radar's off, wildly off.
And sometimes it's good to give it a rest now and then. Come back on a reset, see what happens. See what happens? I don't know. They'll turn back on. We'll get tossed into another reality, and
there we go.
We'll go from there. But yeah, just don't buy everything.
And don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Read literature by reputable authors. Yeah. People that know
by the
what
masters.
They're talking about.
Go back to the masters.
Go back to the masters. Yeah. If you want to look at the psychology of things, if you want to look at the spirituality of things, look up Carl Jung. Look up Alan Watts. These guys, their minds, man, just blow me away. Just blow me away. But that is the
Buddha.
Psychology.
Look at Osho. Look at there's so many incredible genuine masters in this world,
and
that aren't like the spin-offs that are making all this money selling tickets, and they're just rip off of the masters who died in obscurity, most of them.
Read that, read them. Listen to their recordings. A lot of them. Alan Watts had a show on in England, I think, for quite a while. You can still get replays of his show where he talked about spirituality and spoke of the universe and the human condition. And it's so amazing. I mean, I feel like stupid sometimes that we call this show The Witch and the Wise Man, because I'm like, I'm just a guy. I don't feel like I'm a wise anything. I guess I'm a wise ass maybe, but I don't feel that enlightened, let's say. But there's times
we can change the title if you want, The Witch and the Wise Ass. I mean, I'm okay with that.
But there's times when all of a sudden I get into this thing of deep thoughts, like the one I just did on living, that's out there. It's 10 minutes long. Go watch it. It's a lot of fun. It's not fun. It's interesting. But I get into these really deep thoughts, and I start writing down, and I just write down these one sentence thoughts, of what's going on in my head, rather than to sit there and write a whole book. I just hit these one sentence thoughts, and then I sit there and compile all of these things together to say what the message I want to convey, what I want to get across. And it's not something that comes like water. It's not fluid with me at all. It's very
sporadic.
Sporadic and rocky, and I can't just sit down and go, I'm going to think about blah blah blah, and this is the outcome. It doesn't work like that for me. I've got too many things going on in my life to be able to just sit down and think. So you're not alone in the boat. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have time to do this. Nobody does. But when you get a thought, when you get that idea, when you get that goal, when you get that thing that you want to hyper-focus into your life, write things down. Go back and look at them. Write them down, set them off to the side for a couple weeks, then go back and revisit them. You'll be surprised what you read on that piece of paper, because a lot of times what you remember isn't what you wrote down at the time that it inspired you. So go back and take a look. You know, I've got shit stashed everywhere. I've got a whole book of crap here. I've got wads of paper laying around that I write stuff down on all the time.
When you're writing stuff down, you're creating a spell. That's why they call it spelling. So
Exactly.
there's power. That's why a lot of times manifestation does include, like manifestation practices do include writing things down.
That's correct.
Because you are creating a spell with your words.
You are putting your intentions out for the universe right there on that piece of paper.
Yep.
So yeah, there's little piece of
You're
advice.
creating it into reality because it's down on a piece of paper. It's actually a form of reality now,
then
right?
it is reality.
It's not just a thought.
Right. At that point, that's when it becomes reality. You're absolutely right there. All right. Well, our time is about up. Tanya, is there any closing comments you want to make, or you want to talk about your ladies' retreats real quick? Touch on it real fast. You got anything coming up?
Yeah. We have 2 retreats, one in September and one the ones in September is all about the harvest, as far as like lot more related to health and wellness, and for women, what those phases of our life is about. And October's is on Halloween, and it's the witching hour.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So yeah, it's both are very exciting in different ways. And so it's all inclusive. It's at a beautiful Marmalade Motel, and we'll include all the links for the retreats. And if you want to just connect with a bunch of incredible women and just unplug from your muggle mundane life for a few days, come join us. We'll manifest the heck out of things.
Yeah, there you go. All right, yeah, I know it's a women's only thing. Absolutely, but oh my God, it's. Being a guy, I can't even imagine. This guy's like just. When guys get together to do shit like that, it ends up drinking beer and blowing something up or watching sports or something.
Well, we are going to expand into, couples and, potentially some, when we have some male facilitators, that is something that we're going to expand in. But right now we're focusing on women because we are women and we kind of get women.
Yeah.
So
talk about
that's
something
where we're at.
Talk about something for sure.
Exactly.
All right, dear. We're gonna put an end to this. I thank you, Tanya, once again. I'm glad you are safe and getting back to your life again.
Yep.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I got nothing else to say. Watch the end of the thing. If you want the links to get a hold of Tanya or any of the other ladies in the group for booking information, etc., for any of her retreats that are coming up in the very near future, it'll all be right there at the end. Tanya, thank you again, dear. You have a great day. And I
Much
love
you. Bye.
To contact Christy, Tanya, or Cheryl, or for information about retreat scheduling and location, or other inquiries, contact The Sacred Soul Collective at thesacredsoul-collective.com. The Marmalade Motel, Port Dufferin, Nova Scotia. For booking info, themarmalademotel.com.
You can contact D.E. Riley or Tonya Steinborn at thewitchandwiseman@gmail.com.